Do you remember all the prophetic words that we received beginning of last year? 2020, the year of vision. Man, I was so excited about those words. I felt like I would just get new vision, that things were about to take off. Of course, didn't work out that way, did it? Corona hit, and it was not what we expected. Not at all what we expected. In fact, it reminds me a little bit of an experience I had a couple of years ago, where my wife and I wanted to go out and see the wildflowers that are so famous just outside of Cape Town. And so one afternoon we went for a 1.5-hour drive out to the flowers and waited and queued to turn into the national parks that allow you to see these flowers. And we started driving through the veld, and we were looking out the windows looking for these flowers. And I'd seen pictures on the internet, and to say that I was underwhelmed was an understatement, because honestly the bush just looked so dull and drab and boring. And I began to feel that the time was completely wasted. And we were driving into the sun. The sun was setting in front of us, and the bush just looked brown and drab. And all of a sudden, the car in front of us just stopped, and the people seemed to be stopping and really looking at something. And I was quite surprised, because I'm thinking, what are they looking at? There's nothing to see. And so I got out of the car to stretch my legs, and I turned around, and that's when it happened. In turning around, I looked behind me, and the dunes were just an absolute palette of color. It was amazing. There were whites and yellows and oranges and blues. It looked in some places like the dunes were carpeted with color. And suddenly I realized that for the last 30 minutes, we had been driving through the very wildflowers that I'd come to see. But the problem was, because we were driving into the sun and the flowers would follow the sun, we had been watching and we had been seeing the back of the flowers the whole time. And it was only when we stopped and turned around and looked at them from a different perspective that suddenly we could see the beauty that was all around us all the time. And that's what I think 2020 was for many of us. It was a moment where we were forced to stop, and to stop our, frantic progress. And it gave us the opportunity to see things around us that have been all around us all the time, that perhaps we've been hurrying by and missing. For us, it was things like learning to make homemade baked bread, just taking time with family for doing home restaurants, finding the fun in our family, reconnecting on a deeper level. And I think that's one of God's purposes in this time, is really God has pushed the pause button on so many of us, on our lives, to force us to turn around, to stop and to look at life from the Son's perspective. That if we would look at our life from God's perspective again, we might just rediscover the beauty that we've been missing all along. The reality is that life is beautiful, but there are moments when life forces us to stop, to realize things that we've been running past. And my encouragement is, as life returns to normal, and it will, I want to encourage you to take time to say, what am I not going to lose from 2020? Some of these lessons have been really bought at an incredible price. Let's not waste what 2020 was, and let's stop and see the flowers, see the beauty all around us, and make sure that we don't waste what God has done for us. God bless you.